I was able to grow and scale my business to 1 million the first year and 5 million the next year. Once you understand the details that everyone else forgets, that's when business starts to work.
Looking back on all the hard work and long hours growing your business, was it worth it?
If you want to grow your plumbing business past that $1 million checkpoint.
Jared.
What's up, man?
Hey, dude. We were just talking about that intro.
We were.
Yeah, I think we need one of those things with the buttons. Blue, 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 blue. What do you think?
I don't think so.
I think we need a sound effects board.
I don't think so.
You could run it.
Okay, here's the new intro. You ready?
I'm ready.
Welcome to the Jared Williams Show. This episode, we're going to talk about how we went from 0 to 5 million. And that's it.
And I'm like, blue, 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 blue. Could be cool, you know? Could be some sound effects.
No. For new listeners, no. My name is Jared. This is Joel. Jared grew his business from 0 to 5 million in a short time. Joel's along for the ride.
I'm just hanging out, having a good time.
And
happy to be here.
And this podcast, this whole thing is about how to grow your plumbing business so that you guys can do the same thing. Make a bunch of money every year. Have a rockin' plumbing business with tons of profit. That's it. It's the whole thing.
Yep.
And you get to hang out with us for a bit.
Yep.
So on this particular podcast, we're going to talk about how to grow from 0 to 5 million and what I would do if I was to do it all over again. Because we've gone through the steps of what I did, but over the last couple of months, I started to think differently about this.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Also, somebody sent me a message that I really want to answer because he wanted us to do a whole podcast on the topic, and we can include tidbits of it in this podcast. But his questions were taxes and credit card fees. What do we do with those on the invoices, and how do we set that up? So when we get to the invoice portion of this,
I got to remember taxes and credit card fees.
Taxes and credit card fees. We need to talk about this. Because we have never talked about that on this podcast.
Yeah, sure.
And it is a question that we get all the time.
Yeah.
And people who come into our program, by the way, we have a coaching program. If you want help growing your plumbing business, there's a link in the description down below. You can get our playbook in the playbook. Even if you don't want help, there's tons of good information there.
Yeah, I mean, you
get our hourly rate calculator. You get a video walking you through it. Good stuff. If you want help from there, you can book a call with our team, talk about what we have going on. Anyway, we get tons of people in our program who do this wrong.
As far as the taxes and the credit card
Taxes
fees, right?
and credit cards. And they're like, well, what do I do about this? We get it all the time. And I don't know why we never talk about it. There's some things that you assume everybody else knows.
Yeah.
Because for some reason you do. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
But the reality is the majority of people don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, can I ask a question about that now, or do we just want to wait?
Dude, let's wait.
Okay, I'll try to remember my question. I think I'll remember
Because it's going to make way more sense in context.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's why.
We probably don't have to wait that long because...
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Here's what I would do.
Okay, I'm ready.
Step one. I've actually been thinking about this a ton because I've been thinking about possibly opening another plumbing business. And so I've been racking my brain. Okay, if I was to start another plumbing business, how would I go about it?
Yeah, in your current position. And
in my current position.
And this isn't like me starting a plumbing business with no money. This is like
Correct.
You starting a plumbing business, and how would you do it specifically?
Correct.
In your real life situation.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
100%.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
That's what I want to hear.
Okay,
It's
good.
really what I'm interested in.
Okay, good. I'm really glad.
I'm super interested in it.
Oh, man.
Well, what would you do?
I was just waiting for you to ask me that question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what would I do? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have the proper licensing.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to start one down here in Florida, I have no idea what licensing you need. So I'm going to find somebody else in Florida who owns a plumbing business, or I'm going to call up the state plumbing board or whatever and just ask them.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in this state, or I'm in this county, in this city. What do I got to do to start a plumbing business?
Yeah.
Get that information. I'm going to get the licensing out of the way. At the same time, I'm going to be thinking about a name. And the thing with a name is most people do the name wrong.
Yes, they do.
So I would do the name right. because you listen to this podcast and we're about to talk about it. So when I'm thinking of a name, I'm going to think about where I'm at, and I'm going to pick a name that is going to be memorable.
And you mean like where your plumbing business is going to be located, like
Where
geographically?
my plumbing business is located geographically.
Not like where you're at personally, spiritually, financially.
And I'm going to use not that. And I'm going to and I'm going to do this with a grain of salt as well. I think there's been a big push in the home service industry to get away from dumb names and
What do you mean by dumb names?
and bad logos. So like just taking your name and making it, like if you were Joel and it was just Joel's Plumbing.
Yeah. It'd be rad.
The reality is you'd probably be okay, right? Like get enough marketing, you'd be okay. The problem with it is...
I'd make a great avatar, though. That's the thing. That's why my plumbing business would like work.
Yeah,
I'd just be a really good avatar.
You'd really have to dial in your image, though.
Yeah. I mean...
So the problem with
You'd
Joel...
have to tone down my six-pack a little bit because it'd be a little crazy in the avatar. You know what I'm saying?
The problem with Joel's Plumbing is that nobody's going to remember it.
Unless that six-pack is banging.
Unless, not even then. Unless they know somebody named Joel and for some reason it just sticks in their head, right?
Sure.
So if you can, you have the opportunity to pick a name. If you can pick a name that is easily remembered,
How do you know what's easily remembered?
Easily recalled, okay? So if you think about it, like prime example, my business in Fairbanks, Alaska. It's a gold mining town. The town was founded from a prospector. Prospector is like a well-known term in Fairbanks.
Sure.
There's prospector outfitters. There's maybe one or two like prospector businesses, right? So it's not an overused name. It's a very easily remembered name. And when people hear it, they don't forget it. So when you see Prospector Plumbing, it just fits.
Sure.
And they know this business is from Alaska. It's from Fairbanks. And I'm not going to forget the name.
And the Prospector Plumbing helps too, I'd say.
The
alliteration.
Yes. So down here in Florida, like where we're at in Pensacola, there's the Wahoo Stadium. There's the Blue Wahoos, right? And it's a fish. If you were Wahoo Plumbing, nobody's ever going to forget it.
No, probably not.
They're going to see it once and they're going to remember, oh, Wahoo Plumbing.
And also they might be reminded about it when they see other Wahoo branded things.
Correct. So in my mind, if you have a chance to do that in the beginning, you should.
Sure.
Like, why not take advantage of that? It's just a slight edge.
Yeah.
Can it work without that? Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Like we see like the big company in town here is Peden.
Yeah.
How do people remember that?
They just see it enough times.
They just see it enough times. They build a brand for themselves, and now everybody knows who Peden is. I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Or is it Payton?
I don't know.
It might be Payton.
Yeah, who knows? I've only ever heard you say it or me say it.
Yeah, there you go. So it's a big deal and it's not a big deal. But in my mind, if you can get a sliver of an advantage and you can do that multiple times over, that one sliver of an advantage turns into a big sliver of an advantage.
I'd also think that if you can save yourself from rebranding later, that would be really helpful.
And if you can rebrand just your logo instead of your name, it's way easier.
Way easier because then it's not a completely new thing.
Yes. So start it out right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what we can say pretty confidently is you shouldn't be last name plumbing or first name plumbing or last name and sons plumbing.
Yeah. Not that won't work.
No, but
it's just going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah. You could take like a little bit more time and just think of just 1 degree removed from yourself.
Correct.
And then also you're then disassociated with the business.
Correct.
Which is nice.
Correct.
Because then nobody's always asking for Jared's.
Yes.
I want Jared to do the work.
See, Jared's might work though.
Jared's?
Yeah, because he went to Jared's.
Yeah,
you could literally run a campaign like I just called Jared's.
Yeah,
like
Jared's,
it might work.
Plural.
Yeah, like you're playing off.
Yeah, you're just playing off the
company.
Thing. I just think of Jared the Subway guy though.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah, you don't want that. Not a great association.
No, not a great association. Okay, once I have my name done, I'm gonna go get a logo made, and I'm gonna go get a good logo made. There's all sorts of people that make your logo. There's Kick Charge Creative. They're probably the most expensive. They make very kick chargey logos. They look like kick charge brands, right? There's my brother's company, Mammoth for Plumbers. They have a package where you can rebrand and get a logo design and truck wraps design and all that good stuff. And then there's like companies like Prolific. They'll do your branding, and all three of them are going to do a good job. They're all going to do it slightly different. Some more expensive than others. The point is, if you use any of those three, you'll probably be good.
Yeah, you'll be in that category where you want to be.
Yes.
Where you'll be getting attention because it'll be easy to distinguish your brand from amongst the sea of just things without brands.
Correct. So what I would do is I would go to mammothforplumbers.com because he's my brother, and I would sign up for his branding package. And I'd say, I know his designer personally. She does a great job. And I would trust him to create any brand for any business that I had.
So this is all like in like the first week. This is what you'd be executing on.
Correct.
Did you get your LLC already? You probably want to secure that before you went down the branding, yeah?
Correct. I'd make sure the name was available.
Sure.
I would go get my LLC or reserve the name or something.
Would you get your LLC in like another state to like have tax things?
No.
Can you even do that if you have like a plumbing business? Because you can do that if you have like e-commerce, but I don't know if you can do that if you have like
You have to be licensed in the state that you're working in.
Okay.
You can live in another state.
Sure, of course.
But for your plumbing business, it would have to be licensed in the state that you're operating in.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you live, that's why it works with e-commerce, because you can operate from anywhere.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can say you operate in
Wyoming, for example,
or whatever. Yeah.
And then have the company get your mail in Wyoming really goes to your operating location. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So name, branding. Once my branding was done, it's going to take a while.
What do you mean a while? Like week, 2 weeks, 6 months?
It's going to take a while. It's going to take, I think it usually takes like 4 to 8 weeks, depending on who you talk to.
From like initial call to you have something to go get your truck wrapped.
Initial call, you paid them till you have your brand.
Okay.
So in the meantime, I'm going to sign up for my marketing company. And they're going to get to work on creating my Google local service ads, my pay-per-click ads, getting my GMB, setting up my website, getting my Facebook and my Instagram and all that stuff together.
How does that work if you don't have like your logo and everything created?
They just do everything without your logo.
Okay, and then they just pop it in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm going to hire a marketing company at the exact same time.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm going to hire mammothforplumbers.com because it's my brother's company. And I know they do a good job because they marketed my last company.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to start walking through that process. Okay. So then at the end, I'm going to end up with a good brand. Okay. And I'm going to have all the marketing stuff in place to start marketing. When I'm waiting for all that stuff to happen, I'm going to go grab, me personally, I'll grab a few new vans.
Yeah.
Because I know this thing's going to work.
Yeah.
So I might as well go buy 4 vans, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
That way, when my brand is done, I'll start getting them in and getting them wrapped. And then I'll get shelving in them. And then I'll get tools in them. And I'll get parts in them. And then I got 4 vehicles that are ready to rock and roll.
Gotcha. Have you at this point reached out to anybody to be your technicians?
That's the other step that I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to be working on while marketing and branding and all that stuff is getting ready, because that's like 3 to 4 months of time. I'm going to be buying vehicles. I'm going to be running ads to hire at least 1 plumber. And I'm going to probably bring that plumber on board, and I'm going to have him start just decking out my vehicles.
Gotcha. So you might not even have any work for him necessarily to do at this point.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And if it's just me starting out, like one truck chucker just quit his job, I just get my own van and I'm going to go get in that van. And then I would get active on Facebook and see if you can start bringing in work that way. Talk to your friend network, join some BNI groups, that kind of stuff. I may spend some time like joining a BNI group and going and doing some networking. Just
with other business owners?
Getting to know the other business owners in town.
Gotcha.
Letting them know, I'm starting a plumbing business. It's going to be awesome.
I could see that being helpful, especially because you're coming to the market to intend to participate at a very high level.
Yes.
So it's like, it makes sense to be like, hey guys, you guys are at a high level. businesses in this town. You've been established. I'm soon to be established at a high level myself. It's nice to meet you.
And just the connections you make there.
Yeah.
Right? Valuable.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'll probably do that. Maybe join like Chamber of Commerce or something like that. Get to know people, shake hands, say hello.
Your favorite kind of stuff.
So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Spend most of your time doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that a ton, but I would probably do it a little bit. Actually, I'd probably be like, hey, Joel.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I signed you up for a B&I
I was about
group.
to say, like, I would go do that, and I'd go meet the people, and then,
Yeah.
I'm not Jared, but he's my friend. What do you do?
No.
Yeah.
No. You're like investor or part owner or
I'd
something.
wear a suit. Yeah.
No, you don't have to wear a suit. I think it's a new day and age. I don't think you got to wear suits anymore.
I just suit, snakeskin boots, whole thing.
Gold chain.
Really, gold chain. Yeah, with like a pipe wrench on it.
Get super tan.
Yeah.
But just like,
but clear tan line, like where my neck ends.
just like leathery tan.
Yeah. Like I was like out in the woods, and I'd get a really big cowboy hat. I'd talk in a fake accent.
Oh boy.
Your business is gonna crush.
Oh boy. Okay. So by the time my marketing is done, I have vehicles. I have.
Oh, and by done you mean like everything is set up. The logo's
It's ready
all
to
done.
like start spending money on marketing.
Yes, your
right?
presences are all properly arranged and everything.
Yep. I'm also gonna go sign up for Service Titan. I'm gonna
How are you gonna do that? Because they're gonna be like, "Well, Jared, you're only one person."
I'm gonna be like, hey, Service Titan, I got 3 technicians. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's go.
Does it really work like that?
Yeah,
Like if you-
that's what I did the first time.
No,
it was
really?
just me when I signed up.
And then you just said, "So
And then you don't want to know what's funny?
What's that?
I signed up and I paid for it, and I didn't use it for a long time because I didn't have time to set it up.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
so you just got on, and then like when you signed up for Service Titan, was there like a process that you had to initiate, like an onboarding process that you just sort of like, hey, I will initiate that next month kind of thing?
There's an onboarding process, and like Service Titan was sitting there ready to go.
Okay, gotcha.
I had to done all the onboarding.
Yeah.
I hadn't built out my price book, and it just sat there
You're like, I'll
For
get
like-
to you eventually.
for like 3 or 4 months.
That's funny.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. And then I finally like sat down and got the price book
Like,
done.
fine.
Got it
gosh.
dialed in, and I was like, okay, we're gonna start using this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd sign up. So you'd wait till all that stuff was ready, and then you'd sign up for Service Titan.
No, I'd be doing that while I'm waiting for
Okay.
Marketing
While
to
marketing.
get going.
Okay. So this
Yeah.
is almost, you're doing all this like simultaneously.
in the first like 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
I'm working on all this simultaneously.
Yeah,
Like
gotcha.
the first things I'm getting out of the way are the things that are taking a long time,
Yeah.
right? And I'm gonna start putting the pieces in play that I want ready for when the marketing is ready, right? So I'm gonna get on Service Titan. I'm gonna build out my own price book in Service Titan. I'm not gonna buy one. I'm just gonna build it in Service
Can't
Titan.
you just use like prospectors?
No, it's gonna be totally different.
Okay. Right. Because that's obviously.
gonna-
It's actually a good example of why like you couldn't just use prospectors for any
No,
business.
it'd be a disaster
'Cause it's
it'd
so-
be like 90% of the stuff
It
in
would
there
not make any sense.
you wouldn't need down here.
Yeah.
So if I was going to start one here and I hired a plumber to help me deck out the vents, I'd probably pull him in the office and have him help me build a price book because I don't know what goes on down here.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what do we run into down
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. What kind of work we do around
What
here?
needs to be in this price book? Let's go through it together, room by room,
Yeah.
and use his knowledge to help me build a price book. We could probably build it in a day.
How valuable would that first hire be to you
I would choose wisely.
for your first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I've learned over the last few years with technicians, we've been quick to hire, quick to fire. With CSRs, we've been probably quick to hire, slow to fire.
Yeah.
But when you get the right person at the right time, like the right person for the job, it's magical.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Like just through hiring people in my plumbing business and then hiring you and Costin and Morgan and stuff for other businesses. When you get the person who will just come in and be like, okay, this is my job. I understand where it fits. And they understand like, this is like what happened when I hired your wife,
Sure.
right? When I hired your wife, there were no SOPs. Joel's wife was my first CSR. So it was me in the truck. I hired Joel's wife, and she started answering my phones. We didn't even know to call her the CSR at that point, right? We didn't know
You
she
just
was
know you
there.
needed somebody to answer.
I was
your
like,
phones.
I need you to answer my phones.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, and you kind of need to run my schedule too.
Yeah.
Oh, and you
This
can
is
answer
some other
emails.
stuff, yeah.
And then we got on Service Titan. It was like, here's Service Titan.
Good
Figure
luck.
it out.
I'm gonna go do some work.
Yeah.
Let me know when you. Yeah.
And she
That's
just
funny.
she understood the role and what was needed in the bigger picture, and she took ownership of it and she made it happen. She made the role. We didn't need SOPs. I didn't need to manage her. I didn't need to lay out what the expectations are. It was the right hire for at the right time. So if you can make that happen, it's magical.
Yeah, sure.
So this first guy, I would probably be picky on
Sure.
who I hired.
You
I would want him to be the guy that will come in. He'll show up every single day. He'll be super reliable. He has a great attitude,
Pretty motivated to do the thing.
motivated to do the thing, wants to help out, and wants to be a part of it. That's the guy I'd be looking for.
Would you? It seems like it's a hard position to like hire for specifically. Like,
Yeah.
would you just sort of trust like you talk to the person and then you'd be like, I got a feeling that this guy could probably do it.
Yeah.
Like would it be almost more of one of those types of like obviously you're looking
Yeah.
for qualifications and all this stuff.
Yeah, but then any like sign that he wasn't, I'd get rid of him
Yeah,
really
sure,
fast.
yeah.
Right. So I would probably be slower to hire that. It would help if I had somebody in mind.
Sure.
And then I would be really, really quick if it wasn't the right person to make sure and let that person go.
How hard would you try to sell them on like, this is what I've done in the company already. I'm trying to go here. You're a really important hire to me because like you're going to help me get there. Like how much would you try to like communicate to him like your vision for the
Sell him
company?
the whole vision.
Yeah.
Your vision has to be big enough for his dreams to live inside of it. Right.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting that.
So he has to be able to envision his own goals in life
Yeah.
through your dreams by
Yeah.
being a part of your vision.
Yeah.
That's it. Otherwise, what's he doing? He could go work anywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and having that, like that amount of buy-in to the company of this is how I'm going to realize my dreams. If I help this guy out with this thing, it's going to be so good for me. That's cool. So I'd probably be looking for like a guy that I could bring into management or bring into even becoming co-owner if I go acquire another company, right? As the company grows. I'd be looking for that kind of person right off the bat.
So you're looking for essentially a powerful person.
Yeah. Yep. And I feel like I know how to spot them now better than I did
Of course.
3 years ago.
Yes. of
Not that
course.
I'm a pro at it,
Yeah.
but I think there's some specific things I'd be looking for sure. So
Well, do you want to go into those things?
no,
Probably be helpful.
I mean, I'm just going to be looking for the guy who like answers the phone, can communicate well, looks you in the eyes, shakes your hand,
Yeah.
calls you sir,
Yeah.
like just respectful, down to earth, and shows up every day.
Yep.
That's really like all you can, and is willing to do anything.
Sure. Yeah.
The second they quit showing up every day, and the second that they're not willing to do something or they start complaining about doing something, that's not the guy.
Yeah.
The people who show up, don't complain, do what you want, even if they know it's wrong, even if they know it's going to be a bad move, they come to you and they're like, I think this is going to be a bad move, but if you want it done, I'm doing it. Let's go. Then they come back and they're either like, dude, that was a good move.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Or they're like, all right.
Or, hey, do you remember when I told you this was going to be a bad
I told
move?
you this wasn't going to work.
This is a bad move. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, it was a bad move.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. So I'm going to be looking for that guy. We're going to build a price book. We're going to get on Service Titan. All the while at the same time, I'm going to go get my bank account
Okay.
and I'm going to go get a couple credit cards.
Are you looking for anything specific in the bank that you're choosing?
The bank that I choose, I'm going to want a bank that I can do what's called profit first banking in. So I want a bank that I can have multiple accounts that are all accessed through one online login,
Sure.
that I can transfer from accounts with no fees. So there's no limit on how many times I can transfer.
Gotcha.
That way I can, as money comes in, I'll have it come into an income account. And then once it comes into that income account, I'll disperse it to the other accounts as needed. Okay. One of those accounts would be an expense account. The expense account is the account that all my bills will get paid out of. The other accounts would be a profit account. And if I had account like other things that I wanted to make sure I had money for, like if I wanted to give out bonuses or things like that, I would pull money aside throughout the year as money comes in the income account to put money away for those things. That way you can look at your bank account balances and know exactly how much money you have for what.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Very helpful. So I would set that up. I would also apply for a couple credit cards because
You mean like literally 2, or like you just mean like as many as you can?
probably 2 or 3. Yeah, at least 2 probably 3. So I'd probably I'd get a Chase card. I have a Chase card currently. It's freaking awesome.
What do you like about it?
It's just reliable.
What do you mean?
It's like they never shut it down. I never get fraud alerts. Nobody's ever hacked my stuff on there. It just keeps going.
So it just does the thing that you want it to do, make purchases very simply.
Yes, and the online portal is fantastic.
Very true. I
and
agree.
the point system is very good.
Yes.
The other one I would probably think about getting is American Express because they have a very good point system. And then probably between those two, I could probably get my limits high enough to fund my business for the day.
How high the limits are you looking for?
I mean, in the beginning, depending on your personal credit.
Oh, is it going to be tied to your personal credit?
Probably,
Okay.
yeah. You're probably going to have to guarantee it, which is okay.
Sure.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Even with your vehicle loans, you
Yeah.
may have to guarantee your vehicle loans.
Well, because you don't have a business yet. There's
Yeah.
nothing that you can say, I have a
your
business
business
on
has,
paper.
has zero credit,
Yeah.
right? So they're not going to loan you any money on it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get all those things through. I'm going to guarantee them if I have to, right? In the beginning, a credit card, like you're probably not going to burn through 10 grand a day.
Okay.
So if you have a $10,000 limit, it'll last you at least a day,
Yeah.
right? And then as you make purchases, okay, and spend money and pay them off, I'm going to pay credit cards off every single day. And as I do that,
Can I ask a question?
yeah,
How many do most of the guys that come into our program, if you talk to them about this, do they pay their cards off every day?
I don't know.
I'd be interested to know.
I don't know.
Or if they,
They all know that I pay my cards off every day.
yeah.
And I'm sure they know why, or at least the majority of them do.
Yeah.
There's a few reasons why. Number one, I don't ever want to get caught with credit card debt hanging out there. I want to know, and I want to, when I purchase materials, I want to pay them off as quick as possible because I want to be able to look at my bank account and go, that's the actual cash that I have available.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Without-
Not like, minusing this big thing on my
Yeah.
credit card that I'll
Yep.
take care of at some
So
point.
I don't like supply house bills sitting out there. I don't like credit card bills sitting out there.
Yeah.
I get the supply house bill, I pay it off with my credit card, and then I pay off my credit card
Yeah.
instantly
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah.
so that I always know I'm completely paid up. At least I'm only one day behind. Here's how much cash I have in the bank. It's probably fairly accurate.
Does it
Right.
typically take about a day for those transactions to register? Like,
Yeah.
pay it off on the card and it hits your bank account,
Yeah. The next day, typically. Yeah.
give or take.
Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah.
1 or 2 days. Yeah.
Still pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
So really, it just sounds like it gives you just a clean, realistic position on how much money you have.
Correct. And it makes your P&L accurate for the month.
Yes.
Because you bought it this month, you paid it off this month.
Yes.
Now your P&L is accurate. If you bought it this month but paid it off next month, you look more profitable this month and less profitable next month.
Yeah. You just
Right.
have to like,
You have the possibility of that.
Yeah.
That's what you don't want, especially if you have a big job. So like your big jobs, I want to complete them. The day I get a down payment for that job, I want to go buy materials so that at least the materials are bought and it's all in the same month.
yeah.
Preferably, I'd like to finish that job that month as
Yeah.
well and get paid for that job that
Yeah.
month. That way I know my P&L is accurate. If I bought all the materials one month and then got paid for the job the next month, 1 month would look bad, the other month would look good.
Surely that has to happen from
It
time
does.
to time.
It happens.
Yeah.
You can't avoid it.
You just have to be aware of it, or does your bookkeeper help you with that?
You look at your P&L and you go, what happened?
Yeah, because the percentages are going to be all weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your net percentage will be off. One month it'll be low, next month it'll be high.
Uh,
That's totally normal.
yeah.
But I would like to avoid that as much as possible.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want to have to wait till next month
Sure.
to see how I did.
Yeah.
I want to know as soon as possible.
Yes.
And that's why I like to pay everything off all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Have profit first banking so I know exactly where I'm at with my bank balances, and then I look at my P&L. That's what I want. Okay. So with your credit cards, all the while that you're, once you're marketing, you got the guy hired, you're pumping out ads, you're getting some business.
Real quick, when did you hire a bookkeeper? Have you hired a bookkeeper yet?
Oh yeah, I hired a bookkeeper like day one.
Okay.
I called her. And
Even
said,
though you weren't, but you were.
I called her and I
in.
said, I started a new business.
Yeah.
Here's the license. I need you to get all the tax stuff and the EIN and set up the QuickBooks. And here's my new credit cards. Link it to my new credit cards. And here's my bank account. Link it to my bank account.
Have you ever talked to your bookkeeper about how big her business could become?
My bookkeeper?
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, just like listen, like
she's swamped.
I bet she is.
Yeah.
Is it mostly because people that we know and we push people towards her, or is it just because she's just a good bookkeeper and
she's a good bookkeeper. It's not even that she's a good bookkeeper. She is.
Yes, she does the task of bookkeeping well.
Yes, that's expected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any bookkeeper you hire should keep good books.
Yeah.
If they don't, you shouldn't be paying them.
What does it mean what does a bookkeeper even do? I had this question today from a guy. What does a bookkeeper do?
A bookkeeper tracks all of your transactions and all of your invoices.
Okay.
So they make sure in QuickBooks that all of your expenses and income and everything are categorized and they match what's happening in your bank account.
So QuickBooks doesn't do this automatically?
You can set up rules in QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a good bookkeeper will do, but the rules don't always happen, right?
True.
And QuickBooks won't go and reconcile your bank accounts.
What does that mean?
So QuickBooks is sitting here and it's tracking all of your transactions. And if you set up rules, it's taking those transactions. Like if you have a bill from a certain supply house that comes through and it's always materials, you can set it up so that, okay, when this bill comes in through the supply house or this credit card transaction has this supply house's thing, we label this as job materials.
Gotcha.
You can set up a rule like that.
Okay.
So whenever that happens, QuickBooks will say, okay, this was job materials. Bing. This is job materials. And so on and so on. What that's doing is it's saying, okay, we spent this much on job materials. It's organizing it in your profit and loss statement properly. And then it's going back to your bank account and saying, okay, we had a credit card transaction for $99 and we had a bank transaction to the credit card company for $99.
Paying off that card?
Paying off the card.
Okay.
The money matches.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's matching all of your transactions outside of bank to transactions in your bank.
And making sure that everything syncs up.
Money coming in and money going out and make sure it all syncs up.
Yeah. So if there's little extra stuff.
If there's
it's
stuff
cost.
missing, right? Then we know, well, there's money missing. Where is it?
Okay. That sounds important.
Right. Or what are all these expenses for? Right. So now you can go into QuickBooks. You can see exactly what you're spending on what. You can see exactly what your COGS are, your total revenue. You can see what your gross profit is. You can see what all your overhead expenses are, all broken out, and you can see what your net profit is.
Yeah.
That's extremely valuable information. So QuickBooks in we'll call it, I want to say short form. I don't know why.
We'll roll with it.
QuickBooks in short gives you a report card for your business.
Yeah.
And it's tracking all of your transactions to make that report card accurate so that it has accurate data that you can actually use as information to help you run your business properly.
Okay.
Without it, you're screwed.
Sure.
If you're running a business right now and you don't look at your P&L, you're screwed because you have no idea what's going on in your business.
Sure.
If you're just looking at your bank account balances, you have no idea how profitable you are.
Right.
Like, you don't know how much you're going to owe in taxes.
Sure.
Until the end of the year.
Yeah.
I can tell you at any moment what I'm going to pay in taxes.
Yeah.
I don't have to hire a CPA. I already know. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And if you, at the end of the year, somebody is going to do some sort of bookkeeping to tell the IRS how much money you owe in taxes.
Yeah.
And if you have clean books, it makes all that stuff way easier.
Yeah, probably makes it easier for the CPA, obviously, the tax person, but then also for you, because then that CPA, because the CPA is going to call you and be like, so what's going on? I got a bunch of like stuff happening here. Help me categorize these expenses.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? Like, I imagine
Yeah.
they would have to do that so they
Yeah.
could figure out like what
And
to
a
do
lot
with
of
your
plumbing
money.
business owners are going to get annoyed.
Yes.
And they're going to be like, well, I bought this thing with my company card, but it's
Yep.
for personal stuff.
Yep.
And don't do all that. Keep it all separate. Keep your personal life and your business life completely separate. Have different bank accounts and different credit cards for your business than you do your personal life. And track everything in your business down to a T. Very important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no idea what you're doing. You're probably wasting money on dumb crap. You have no information to grow your business with. You have no report card. And at the end of the year, you have no idea how much you owe on taxes. You could end up paying way more on taxes because you didn't track your information.
How?
If you didn't have, like, if you bought a bunch of stuff on your personal card and then
Like for the business or just
for
for
the
yourself?
business,
Okay.
yeah, and you didn't track that and you forgot about it, well, then you don't get to expense that from your business.
Sure.
Right? So now it looks like I'm more profitable than I was, and I have to pay taxes on that.
Yep.
Which is dumb. When you buy vehicles,
Yeah.
QuickBooks will track your vehicle loans. It'll track how much you still owe, how much you depreciated that vehicle, it'll track all of your interest payments so that you can write off your interest payments. All of that good stuff gets tracked on QuickBooks. If you don't do that, you're going to pay more in taxes.
Yeah.
Very important.
And so your bookkeeper just sort of is like the human interaction. Like there's QuickBooks and that's the software that everything is happening. And then your bookkeeper is like looking at that software and then making sure that you're getting a P&L that is actually to your standard.
And she's going in and reconciling bank accounts.
Yeah.
Making sure all the money matches up every single month. And then sending you a P&L.
Gotcha.
Saying, hey, March is done. Here's a finished P&L for March. Then you can go look at, this is how much money we brought in. This is how much we spent on materials. This is how much we spent on technician labor. This is how much our gross profit was. Here's all of our overhead expenses listed out. Here's how profitable we were net as a company. Very, very valuable information.
So what if, so this is slightly different because this is like pretending my scenario. Like what if I'm starting a business, right? A plumbing business, and my wife wants to help out. And she's like, I'll keep your books.
No.
She wants to help out though. Well, okay.
That's fine. Help out in some other way.
Okay, that's the next question. It's like, okay.
Unless she's a bookkeeper.
Like, and she's going to keep my books like I hired her as a contractor.
Correct.
I would pay her full
Even
money.
then, I would rather my wife do other things in the business than keep the books because it's one of the cheapest things that you can hire out. You can find an hourly bookkeeper for $50 an hour. And in the very beginning, she might spend 3 or 4 hours like getting QuickBooks set up and the rules set. But after the first month or two, it's literally going to be like $50 a month for her to keep books.
Sure.
Or him. Sorry. I'm not sexist, but if you're a guy bookkeeper, it's kind of weird. So I would just hire it out.
Yeah.
And I would have my wife concentrate on answering phones, figuring out Service Titan.
Yeah, there's probably higher leverage
that kind of
tasks
stuff. Yeah.
that your wife could do other than just keep your books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And if she's not a professional bookkeeper,
It's going to take her way more time
yes.
if she's not.
And it's like
And it's
such
not
an
gonna be
important
done.
part of your business that it's like it's actually kind of funny how important it is and how cheap it is relative to the importance.
Yeah. It's literally the easiest thing to hire out
Yeah.
in your business. Hands down.
So like if I was hiring a bookkeeper, would I just Google like bookkeeper?
Yeah. Go find one that charges by the hour.
What if I like, do they need to have experience with home service businesses or?
No.
Okay.
All the books are the same. The only thing, if you hire one that doesn't have experience with home service, even if you do hire one that has home service experience, you have to tell them how to organize your P&L.
Yeah.
So on your P&L, and we cover this topic a lot because it's very important.
It's kind of a dead horse that I like beating because
Yes, I
I
just
talked
covered
to
it.
a lot of plumbers.
I just covered it with the guy who mows my yard this morning.
Does he get a P&L?
He will now, I hope. No. But we were talking about marking up materials.
Yeah.
And the only way I can tell him how to mark up, how much to mark up materials is like, well, you need to know what your gross profit needs to be.
Yeah.
So that you can mark your materials up accordingly.
Yeah.
And he's like, he got it. He understood it.
Yeah.
Smart guy. But anyway, so we talk about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you have total sales or total revenue or total income at the very top of your P&L. Mm-hmm. It's how much money you made, how much actual cash you brought into your business. Underneath that, you subtract out your COGS. I'll give you $300 if you kill that fly that's flying around.
Dude, I'll get it. It's been distracting me this whole time.
I hate flies.
Real quick, for some reason, we've left our house. These last 2 times we've gone to church in the morning.
Yeah.
And we come home and the door's open.
Oh.
And
do you got tons of flies in your house?
All the pets stayed inside. I don't know how, but they all stayed inside. I would expect that they would have all been like, we out. We're doing animal stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we walk in there and there's like 50 flies.
The flies get bad right now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And then like, you think your door's closed and like you're rushing out the house and you got a pancake still on the counter and then the flies are just like...
It's your kids.
Yeah. I told Sarai...
Your kids left the pancake out and they left the door open.
I know. I told Sarai, I was like, you were the last one to come out. Like, did you close the door? And she's like, yeah, I slammed it. I was like, maybe it popped open? She's like, no. I was like, everybody's got to lock the door when we leave. Like,
you got to tell them, if we come home and this door is open, you guys are sleeping outside, and you think the flies are bad in our house, wait till you sleep outside.
I'm going to throw a bunch of pancakes around you when you're sleeping. That's what I'm going to do.
Pour syrup on them.
Yeah, syrup, honey, the whole thing,
I made a fly trap last year and just set it in my garage and left the door open, the garage door. Mm-hmm. Dude, we caught thousands of flies. It was crazy. Yeah. It was cool. Reminded me of killing my bees, vacuuming up the bees. And then you got like 5 gallons of just dead bees.
Yep.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad when I was killing all my bees.
So did I, until I got the honey and I was like,
yeah. And I was like, I get it. But yeah, I felt very like, it was funny because like they didn't know what was going on. And then suddenly I'm vacuuming them up and then I'm scraping out the brood and I'm just like, this is kind of savage.
Did you put soapy water in your vacuum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It didn't take very long. And then I got the honey and I was like, this honey's really good.
Yeah.
But then I was like, still kind of sad. Got to murder these suckers every year. That's what beekeeping's like in Alaska, everybody. Yeah. This isn't like normal beekeeping where you just have a hive that can make you honey.
You got to murder your bees every year.
Yeah, or else they're just, or not have any honey. Yep. Like those are your choices.
Or just buy honey.
What? Yeah, of course. You could always buy honey. That's true. You could do that.
Yeah. Okay, back to our P&L. Total revenue at the top. Mm-hmm. After that, you subtract out what's called your COGS. Mm-hmm. Your COGS are the labor involved with the work you do and the materials and anything associated with that labor.
Yeah.
So commission, benefits, employer taxes, those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. Subcontractors would go up there as well. Okay, that's all COGS. It's directly related to the work that you're doing. Everything else is overhead. So if you own a plumbing business, it's technicians, everything associated with their labor, materials, any commission you pay to anybody throughout there, and subcontractors. Mm-hmm. That all goes up in your COGS. Okay? Why were we talking about this?
Because we're talking about P&L. Because it came from material markup, and the whole broader topic of the conversation is you need to have a bookkeeper to get a P&L, and you need to understand, how you understand material markup is based upon your P&L. So if you didn't have a P&L, you wouldn't even...
No. The bookkeeper, you have to tell her what to put in your COGS.
Yes.
Or
sure.
him.
Because
not sexist.
You should put that on your shirt.
Not sexist.
Yeah, just that.
Not sexist, but extremely opinionated.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay. You have to, a lot of times you'll have to tell your bookkeeper, hey, they'll understand what COGS are. Yeah. And you just have to tell them, hey, I want my technician labor and anything that's associated with it, my subcontractors and all my job materials, I want them up in COGS.
Yeah.
And then just look at your P&L and make sure they're up there.
Yeah. And then that's pretty simple because then everything else is going to be overhead and then profit.
Yep. And if you're out in the truck as an owner, your labor needs to go in COGS.
Yep.
Hands down, not down on overhead.
Mm-hmm. You're not there yet.
That way you know you're hitting the right gross profit margin.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's fairly simple.
Yes.
Sounds confusing, but it's actually pretty simple.
I know for personal experience that it's taken me probably the whole time I've known you and talked about these things to begin to understand how it works out. So it's like it's simple, but it just takes a bit to wrap your mind around it.
Here's how you know what gross margin you need to hit. So if you did $1 million in revenue, okay, and your overhead was $200,000, let's say it's $250,000 for easy math. Your overhead is 25% of the revenue you did.
Okay.
Now, if you want 20% left for net profit, your overhead and your net profit are 45%, which means you need a gross profit of 45% minimum, right? So I'd probably shoot for 50 at that point.
Yeah, gotcha.
Give yourself a 5% buffer. So when you're looking at materials, you say, I need to hit a 50% gross margin on these materials because materials are a cog. So you would say, I need to mark them up 100% in order to hit 50% profit on my materials. That's how you come up with how much you need to mark up your materials. If you're a plumbing business, did you get it?
You might be in there, dude.
Dude, you better murder that thing.
I don't know how I'm
I
gonna
hate
murder it
flies.
now.
You got to hold your hand on that cup the rest of the podcast.
Okay, $300, put it in my bank account.
Only if you eat it.
Deal. I'll
Okay.
just drink it down.
Okay.
Easiest $300 I'd ever make. Eating a fly.
Dude, yeah. Super easy.
That's like when
I'm an easy $300 guy.
our buddy when Joshua ate a thing of chocolate for $50 from Chase.
Yeah.
Because Chase was like, hey man, I'll give you $50 if you eat that little thing of chocolate. Josh was like, done. And he ate it. And I was like, it's gonna be so funny because he's gonna feel sick. Josh just ate it, and then it was like $50, please. And then Chase was like, here you go. And then he's like, and I was like, that was so
Was
dumb.
it a lot of chocolate?
Yeah, it was like a can. It was like a jar of chocolate. But Chase paid him
Like
$50
liquid
to do it.
chocolate?
Yeah.
Ew.
But the point was it was like maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then there was no climax.
That's
It was
probably
really
the most
boring.
money Josh has ever made per minute in his
Yeah.
entire life
It was a lot.
to this day.
And that's why he did it. And I was like, this is so dumb. I'd never do that. And I was like, wait a second. That guy just made an incredible return on his time. Like, that's a good investment right there.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Okay. So, P&L, you got to tell your bookkeeper how to organize it. Now you know. You have no excuse at this point. If you listen to this podcast, call your bookkeeper, tell her what's up, make it happen.
And really, if you're doing any revenue, you should have a bookkeeper.
If you're doing any revenue, you should have a bookkeeper.
So if you're listening to this and you don't have any revenue, just pause it. Go get a bookkeeper.
Correctamundo. Okay. Marketing's done. All the stuff we talked about is in place. Now it's just like, we got to spend some money on marketing and start getting work. Okay. One of the things I'm going to set up day one in my company is a membership plan.
Yeah.
On Service Titan. I'm going to make a rad name for it. And then it's going to be $99 a year. You're going to get 10% off all of our services. You're going to get priority scheduling. So we're going to schedule you before we schedule non-members. And dun, 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 you're going to get no service fees.
Nice.
Okay. So free estimates, no service
So
fees.
I can bring
no
you out
dispatch
anytime
fees.
I want.
Bring me out anytime you want. Okay. I'm going to have my one technician. I may hire two depending on.
I can't get that. I gotta
Throwing stuff
I'm
at
on
ya.
fly duty.
I may hire two depending on how much money I had in the bank.
Sure.
And how well my marketing is working at the time. But the goal here is I'm going to start spending money on marketing to get work for the technician to go to the homeowner and do work and make revenue and bring in money. Okay? At the same time, he's going to be selling memberships.
Sure.
Now, I am going to step on the gas on my marketing, and my goal is going to be to get that one or two technicians busy.
Yeah. So when you think of stepping on the gas, are you thinking like a percentage of what you're expected to do in revenue, or?
So if I have one technician, I'm going to expect him to do roughly $500,000 in revenue, and I'm going to spend at least $50,000 on ads to keep him busy, if not more.
Okay.
I'd probably spend up to $100,000 the first year.
Gotcha.
No problem. And I would probably keep that going.
Yeah.
And I would make sure I'm charging enough to help cover that.
Of course.
Yeah. My goal is going to be to get these one or two guys busy. And then I'm going to chill for a minute until we sell enough memberships. And that's going to be the thing that I track in order to know when I can hire another technician and spend more money on marketing.
Man, that's fancy.
Okay. So, and here's why. If I can sell, let's say I have my technicians are going to do 500,000 a year. That's bare minimum.
Yeah.
There's no reason they can't do better, but that would be my absolute minimum. If you don't hit that, you don't work here. If I know they can do 500,000 a year in revenue, if I have 2 technicians and I sell 500 memberships, did you get it? Did you drown the fly in your coffee? Dude,
Yeah, sucker's dead.
have you ever seen Yahoo Serious?
No.
Dude, there's another movie. You're like non-movied.
I
thought I was non-movied.
I've seen a lot of movies.
I guess
not the
I've
movies
just-
that you've seen.
I've just seen a lot of weird movies.
You have seen a lot. What I would be like weird movies, only because I've never seen them. Like Buckaroo Banzai. I haven't heard
Dude,
of that.
Buckaroo Banzai is a good one. Yahoo Serious, he shoots flies out of the air. You're like Yahoo Serious.
Yeah, I just drown them in coffee and then
Yeah.
I drink the coffee.
But don't do that. That'd be gross. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
not paying you any
You're
money
just
for
trying to
it.
get me you just don't want to give me $300 now to go to my gun fund.
Yeah, no way. I'd rather just buy you a gun.
Deal.
Not gonna happen.
Damn it.
That's
so close.
I'm gonna limit the amount of technicians that I have based on how many members I have.
How did you where did this thinking come from?
I stole it from another guy, but here's the thought. Okay.
Hey man, that's a lot of people have really good ideas. There's no shame in stealing
I've heard this on a couple, and the limiting the growth thing I didn't steal, but the memberships per million I stole. So think about this.
Memberships per million.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I've got 2 guys,
Okay.
minimum 500K per guy, they're going to do $1 million.
Okay.
Minimum.
Yeah, sure.
Absolute minimum. If they sell 500 memberships before I ever grow,
Between the two of them?
between the 2 of them, right? That's a membership a day. Totally doable.
Yeah, seems pretty
for
possible.
an entire year.
Yeah.
And I'm just chilling, letting this thing cook.
Yeah.
I now have 500 members
Yeah.
paying me, we'll call it $100 a year. How much money is that?
500, 100. Dude, 50,000? 500,000? 50,000?
What's 500 times 100?
I got to think of the zeros.
Add 2 zeros.
Yeah.
So it's
50,000.
5,000,000. It's $50,000
$50,000
a year in recurring revenue. I can now take that money and spend it on advertising
Sure.
to get, so I have my base budget of advertising.
And is that like what you would do, or is that recommended? Like with that membership money?
This is what I would do.
Yeah, gotcha.
That membership money, I would turn around when it's time. Once I get that, once I'm at 500,000, at that point, the other thing is you got 500 members. Those are 500 people that are bought into your company
Yeah.
for sure.
That's a lot of people that you could potentially call if it's slow.
You could potentially call if it's slow, but those are 500 people that are going to call you when they need something done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
500 people that you don't have to market to anymore. Your cost of marketing to those members, maybe you send out a monthly email. That's it.
Just letting like a newsletter style thing.
Yeah.
That can just be strictly value and informative.
Yeah. And so you can grow fast or you can grow slow. I would choose to grow slow this time because I'm tired and I'm almost 40 and and I'm not out there working every day, so I don't care as much, right?
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
want out of the van so bad.
Yeah.
Whereas the last time I was like, every last cent went into marketing so I could get new customers so I could get out of the van.
Yeah.
This time, I'm going to put money into marketing. I'm going to build up my customer base via my membership. Those are companies, those are members that are bought into my company that I don't have to market to anymore. And once I have 500 members, I'm going to take that 50,000 and start spending it on marketing. And I'm going to spend that 50,000.
Well, you're going to add it into your marketing budget.
I'm going to add it into my marketing budget. I'm going to hire a third guy. And once I get to 750 members, I'm going to take the extra money that I made from those members.
Yeah, yep.
I'm going to dump it into marketing, and I'm going to hire my fourth guy. And every 250 members, I'm going to hire another guy. And that is how I'm going to grow my business, so that I always have a solid membership base,
Yeah.
depending on how many technicians I have.
Yeah.
my technicians and my membership base are aligned.
Yeah.
My marketing budget, my technicians, and my membership base are all aligned across the board. That will, during tough economic times, will allow us to have good years no matter what.
Yeah.
I see it in my business right now. We've got 8 technicians and we've got, I think we're around 1,500 members now, maybe a little more. And we're breaking records. We're having record breaking months, December, January, February, March, April. We have had 6 months of breaking records.
From like years previous, right?
From years previous. So December 23 compared to December 22, up
Still making more money.
15-20%. January.
And 15-20% is not a small percentage. That's a massive percentage.
April, we were up 24%.
Yeah.
So, and that's all because of the memberships. We haven't increased our marketing budget at all.
And your membership structure is still service based, or did you switch it?
No, it's the
so
old
it's
structure.
So it's still tune and cleans.
Yeah,
and
for the listeners,
sucks up
it's
a bunch of time.
For the listeners in my current business, it's a plumbing and heating business. We have a ton of oil hydronic boilers. They need serviced every year. They need cleaned, nozzle
Right
changed.
before winter too.
Yeah, everybody calls before winter. It's a pain in the butt. Everybody wants it at the exact same time.
Because if I get it tuned in summertime, it's not going to work when it come wintertime.
Yeah, which is dumb. But that's a whole nother argument. And so we structured the membership. It's $49 a month or $599 a year. You get all the same benefits, 10% off, priority scheduling, no dispatch fees, except we give you a complimentary tune and clean. So we come to your house and we tune and clean your boiler for free.
Yeah.
Basically, we put you on a payment plan for your tune and clean.
Yeah.
This worked very well to get a customer base, right? It has problems at the scale that we have it at because
A lot of time in tune and cleans.
1,500 free tune and cleans. We've got a few people busy all year long just doing free tune and cleans.
Yeah.
Not
selling any hours.
That would be so bad in and of itself. The fact that everybody calls right when winter hits, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yep.
Because we're so busy doing free tune and cleans, we can't get to anybody who wants to pay us money to do work.
Yes.
And so it starts to drive revenue down. So we're having to be really careful about how we schedule our tune and cleans. And we're trying to get them spread out throughout the entire year as best we can to help with that problem.
Are you seeing success in that?
A little bit.
Is it hard to get customers to do that?
Yeah. Some of
Really?
them.
Interesting.
Yeah. They want it done.
Right before winter?
Yeah. And,
Even though it's still.
and you got to think about it. Like most people call. So the first time they call us, it's
sure.
they call in this like 3-month period when everybody wants their tune and clean
Yeah.
done.
Because they're calling everybody, trying to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so then we go to their house and we sell them a membership. And let's say it's September.
Sure.
Well, they're technically due for another tune and clean in September.
Yeah. So why would they want to get one earlier?
Why would they want to get one earlier? And if we we want to get them done in April
Yeah.
because that's our slowest month. So now we take them, we get them in September, and then we give them another free one in April. But we haven't even finished gotten paid for the one that we gave them in September because they're on a payment plan.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that'd be another way you can drive down down revenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it creates problems. I have thought about switching. It seems like a big headache.
Sure.
It may happen. It may not.
Yeah. Because it's almost like you'd have to keep the guys on the grandfathered plan and then everybody else you'd switch after that.
If we can figure out how to schedule it this year, I won't switch it. But if we can't make the scheduling work, then we're going to switch it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, selling on membership plans. We are going to be a flat rate company. So, when my techs go to your house, they're going to have an iPad and a price book. And they're going to pull out numbers out of the price book. And we're going to present you with a price, a final price for the work that you want done. And that's it. No breakdown on labor and materials. We are not going to break it down. The other thing we're not going to do is we are not going to add on taxes for materials, and we are not going to add on credit card fees. We're going to, for credit card fees, we're going to bake that into our pricing.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Like add-on, and by add-on, do you mean like it would appear on the customer's invoice?
Yeah. Oh, you're paying with a credit card? It's an extra 3%.
Gotcha.
That just pisses people off.
Yeah, or it makes them confused and they kind of like, well, what would that be? Oh, I guess I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
But there's just this weird hiccup in the process. It's not as smooth.
Weird hiccup. Yeah, this is $300. Oh, wait, it's $315 because you're paying with a credit card.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, you're like, well, let me go get my debit card. Let me write you a check, or let me call my husband and see.
Here's the other
like,
thing.
It gets like,
I'm not going to take checks.
Jared.
It's not going to happen. No checks, no cash, credit cards only.
Yeah, but
Because
I love
people
my
spend more money on their credit cards.
true.
And I don't want to have to take checks to the bank. And
Yeah.
I don't want technicians getting checks and leaving them in their van for 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, I
And then we get it
found
back in the office and it's written wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I want my money now.
Yeah.
I want it processed, done, over with.
Yeah. I mean, the point of you doing service is because it's an easier business model to run than like commercial or new construction. And you get the cash flow is day to day.
Yep. So no checks, no cash, credit cards only. People will spend more money and I get my money right away. And it gets rid of the headaches of depositing checks or bringing checks back to the office or bringing cash back to the office and having to keep track of it all.
Okay, so credit card fees is baked into your price.
And credit card fees are baked in the price, so I don't care.
Gotcha.
Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. How am I going to set up my pricing? How do I bake that credit card fee in?
You have to figure out the percentage that your credit card is charging.
Correct.
And then
Mark up my materials
by the same
and
percentage?
my labor. Make sure that's built into it.
Yeah, okay.
So we did an episode on gross margin pricing. If you want to know how to price your business, I would do gross margin. There's a whole podcast episode on it.
Would you start this business gross margin pricing?
This business, I'm going to start on gross margin.
Gotcha, right away.
Yep.
Gotcha.
If I'm a one truck chuck, I'm probably not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because it's too much for me to understand.
But now you understand all the things, so
I
gross
understand all the
margin
things. If I'm a business owner or I've been in business for a while, I know what my P&L looks like. I'm going to start with gross margin pricing. And part of my equation that we didn't go over on that podcast is my labor rate. I'm going to mark it up for efficiency.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark it up for overtime.
We talked about that.
Yep. I'm going to mark it up for credit card fees. And then I'm going to mark it up for my desired margin on my P&L.
Okay.
And that's how I'm going to rock and roll. That's going to be my price. It's going to be baked into my hourly rate. And then with my material markup, I'm going to say this is my efficiency, which I have past data to know what material efficiency is going to be. And I'm going to say these are my credit card fees. And this is the margin I need on my P&L. So here's how much we mark up materials. Super simple. Very easy. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's how I'm going to set up my pricing. Easy. As far as taxes on materials, a lot of people and a lot of CPAs and a lot of bookkeepers will tell you, you have to split these up on your invoice because we need to know how much to pay in taxes for the materials.
So it's invoice to the customer that needs to be split?
Correct.
So they want you to split it on, so the even though it's for their benefit in their eyes, not the customers.
Yeah. And the lesson to learn here is your CPA doesn't know everything.
True.
And your CPA gives you advice, not laws. Right? And you have to take
Even though sometimes it feels like it's laws that they're giving you.
They don't know your business. They typically don't know how your business is supposed to run, and you have to learn that information for yourself, which is why you're watching this podcast, right? So, and because a lot of CPAs, and I hear this all the time, my CPA said, I have to split up labor and materials, and we have to be charging taxes on the materials to the customer. We have to add in taxes. In most states, if not all of them, if you pay taxes on the materials when you purchase them, you do not have to charge taxes to the customer when you give them the bill.
Gotcha. So if you pay you go to the supply house.
Yes.
And is there any scenario where you wouldn't pay taxes from where you purchase them?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't pay taxes when you purchase them, then you have to charge the customer taxes on those materials, and then you have to pay those taxes to the appropriate people.
Gotcha.
In most states, if you just pay the taxes when you buy the parts, which is what I would do, then you don't have to charge the customer for those taxes.
Can you elect to do that? Like, is that something that you have to go like and set up yourself if you're in a state where it doesn't automatically do that?
When you go to your vendor, just tell them, I want to pay the taxes. That's it.
It's weird to me that there would be an option to not pay your taxes.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. But when you, and most guys will be like, I don't want to do that because now I'm paying more for my materials.
Exactly, yeah. And so they'll be like, so if I don't have to pay taxes on materials, I'm making money on this. And then they just don't know they have to mark it up later, and their CPA yells at them.
Pay the taxes, mark up the amount that you paid on the taxes, and sell it to the customer for enough to hit your gross margin, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And Matt, think about the work that happens on the other end. Well, if I don't pay taxes on materials and I add it onto my customer's bill, and then they pay me, and then I pay the state or whoever you're responsible for paying material taxes to, that's a ton of work on the back end.
And it might be lame if like it's scattered. Like if you go from the supply house, you don't pay taxes, but you go from when you buy stuff at Home Depot or Lowe's, you do pay taxes. You have like different stuff going on.
Correct.
It starts to get real fancy.
Yeah, screw that.
Sounds like the CPA just wants more work.
That's what CPAs do.
Yeah,
They want more work.
You know.
There's
you
a
go to
weird
college
thing.
for something, you got to do it. You got to make use of it.
It's like they got to justify their job.
Yeah.
And if your CPA is like that, find a new CPA.
Yeah.
Find one that will work with you for what you need for your business, not just to dot T's or dot I's and cross T's. And
You could
create
dot
more
T's
work.
too.
You can. It'd be silly. Just like going back and making sure all the I's are dotted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You know me. I don't like CPAs, but
I know. I know.
CPAs and lawyers.
Yeah.
Lawyers want to just make a bunch of jibber jabbish to rack up those lawyer fees so they make more money, in my experience. If you find a good lawyer, hold on to
It's
him.
a gem.
Yep.
Yep.
I got a good lawyer. I ain't telling nobody who he is. No,
Don't
just
want him
kidding.
to change his. Don't want him to change his tune. You know.
No, I'll tell everybody who he is. But and if you find a good CPA and a good bookkeeper, hold on to them.
Yeah.
And if they're not a good bookkeeper or CPA, get rid of them.
Yeah, it's okay.
Get one who is.
Business.
Get one that'll work with you to help you run your business, not just make you do a bunch of useless crap. That's silly.
Going back to the tax thing,
Yeah.
it's interesting because either way, the customer is going to be paying for those taxes.
The customer is going to pay, yes, either way. And
Yes.
reality is like
you're not sheltering the customer from taxes.
even if on your invoice you have labor, materials, and then you have taxes for the materials, you should be marking up those taxes because that's money coming in your business and then going out.
Sure.
Anything that comes in and goes out, you need to make a profit on. Otherwise, it's going to affect your profit.
Sure.
This is like with marketing agencies back in the day when there was like radio buy and TV buy. There still is, but not as much. This was a big thing because they would get paid from the client and then they would go buy like TV time or radio time.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies weren't marking that up. And so if they did $10 million in radio buy and their agency only did $2 million in actual like recurring revenue, guess what happens to their profit margins?
Goes down.
It's garbage. Why wouldn't you mark that up and make money on it? That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
That's part of being in business. Everything that you do has to make money, has to produce a profit.
Yeah.
It's just how much you have to mark it up to produce the profit you want is the equation you need to figure out. That's how it is. Okay. That's how I do it.
Okay.
It's actually pretty easy.
Yeah, for the taxes and the credit card fees.
No, everything. Like that's the whole story right there.
Yeah. So, question, like, because when you went into this, I imagine, because you know all the things that you already know how you're going to pay your guys, like what commission structures. Do you have like, are you doing training with them already? Like, do you have all those systems set up as far as like all those things as well?
I'd be working on those probably like I'd have my first 2 guys and then I'd start working on all the trainings.
Gotcha.
And probably what I would do.
Weekly training.
What's that?
Like weekly training with them?
Yeah, and probably what I would do is I would set up a camera and do those trainings live with my technicians, and then I would take the recordings and I would put them into a training program. I would probably at this point put them into either Trainual. I'd probably put them in Trainual. And then when I get a new technician on, I would have this course basically that he's going to be required to go through. And so as I walk my 2 technicians through it, they get to ask questions. I get to answer them live. They go into the training. New guys come in.
Yeah.
They get to watch the trainings.
Nice.
That's probably what I would do. And then I would probably buy additional training for my technicians as well.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about pay structures and commission and training for your technicians, because I would do this differently this time as well. I would figure out what plumbers are getting paid
In your area.
in my area.
Gotcha.
So I would go to the shops and I would say, how much you getting paid?
What y'all making?
Who you work for?
Yeah.
How much do you get paid?
Yeah.
Do they pay you commission? Well, how much do they pay you? And I would figure it out. And I would offer a base wage plus a commission over a certain dollar amount in revenue billed. Okay?
Okay.
So let's say plumbers are making $30 an hour in your area on average. I would probably say, okay, well, I'm going to pay $35. That's going to allow me to, it's going to interest somebody to come work for me.
Yep.
Okay. And I really don't have to charge the customer a whole lot more in order for that to happen.
Yeah. 30 to 35 isn't a big jump for the customer.
And then I'm going to go on Google Sheets and I'm going to lay out in a spreadsheet. I'm going to say, okay, my plumber pay is 35 and I want to pay them a 10% commission on anything over 10 grand. And then I'm going to go map that out on a spreadsheet. And I'm going to see what happens if I start paying them 10% commission on anything over 10 grand.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to look at is that I'm going to look at, compared to how much revenue they brought in, how much out of that revenue am I paying them percentage-wise?
Yeah,
right?
sure.
What percentage of the revenue they bring in is their labor cost? Because looking at my P&L, I know I need to be under 25%. If I'm over 25%, my gross profit margins are too low, and I don't have enough left over for overhead, and I don't have enough left over for net, right? So I'm going to find that point at which I can pay them 10% commission, and it actually costs me less, and I'm going to say less than 20%, because 5% of their wages are going to go towards employer taxes and benefits.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep it under 20. Okay. So I'm going to go put in 10,000. And if it says 22%, their wages are 22% of the revenue they brought in, then I'm going to say, okay, we got to go to 12,000. And if at 12,000, it's like 19%, I'm going to say, okay, at 12,000, you start making a 10% commission on anything over that.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to map that out, what it looks like if they do 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, all the way to 100,000. And when I hire guys on, I'm going to show them, here's my pay plan.
Yeah. So they
You make $35 an hour for the hours you work, and you get a 10% commission for anything over 12,000. And
that's like sold in that day,
that week.
Okay. So it's a weekly
This is
thing.
a weekly thing. I'm going to pay my guys weekly.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I understand.
And I'm going to go and they're going to see. I'm going to say, look, if you bill out 14,000, here's your normal pay, and here's your commission. Here's what your total check is. And then I'm going to go down. If you bill out 20K or 25K or 30K, here's how much money you can make.
Yeah, that's rad. Because then they can just go, oh, dang, I could possibly make this much if I do this. And like, yeah.
Yeah. And for the technician, when they go from 10K to 20K to 30K, it doesn't go up at the same rate that the revenue goes up. It's exponential.
Yeah.
Like they go from 20K to 25K and it doubles what it did from 10K to 20K, right?
As far as
their commission.
Okay.
Right? So they have a potential to earn a lot more money. When you map this out, what you'll find, what you want to find is when you give them that commission, you'll see the gross percentage of their labor compared to how much revenue they brought in. It will start to go down.
Interesting.
As they bring in more revenue,
Interesting.
you are paying them less as a percentage.
Yes.
Right?
They're making more.
They're making more. and you're making more. It's a
Interesting.
win-win.
That's cool. I mean, it sounds like a really good deal because you're offering these guys more per hour.
You are offering them unlimited money.
Sure, yeah, because at some point, the more they make, actually, I think I just saw a short from Tommy Mello, and he wasn't going deep into it, but he was just talking about like the best pay structures is if my guy comes in and he sells crazy amount of money, like $1 million this year, or $2 million, $3 million. I'll be like, great, bro. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
freaking awesome.
like, come live in my house. I don't care what you do. I'm stoked to have you. Because he's like, I made a ton of money this year.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So, and here's the thing, like that technician, what you have to make them realize is, and this is a lesson that I've learned over the last short amount of time, probably too late.
Too late.
But
maybe
that's
this
part of the
time
deal,
around.
right?
Yeah.
So that technician needs to understand just one thing, that his paycheck, the amount of money on his paycheck is directly related to what how the customer feels about the service that he provided. That's it.
Sure.
Him and the service he provided. And if he wants to make more money on his paycheck, all he has to do is make the customer feel better about himself and the service that he provided. That's it. So at this rate, it's like, okay, you can make an unlimited amount of money here.
Yeah.
Do you want more money on your paycheck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Most people do. If you don't want more money on your paycheck, I don't want you working.
Yeah,
here.
sure.
Like reality.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to strive and be better, I don't want you to be part of my company.
Yeah.
So we should probably just.
Yeah.
But if you want more money in your paycheck, guess what? I will purchase third-party training for you to go through on your own time to make you better at your job so that you can make more money here.
I'm here to support you.
If you don't appreciate that, you don't have to work here.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry.
Yeah.
But I have 4 trainings that I will purchase. I will spend my hard-earned money to get you the training so that you can make more money in this system, right? And to provide your guys with the training. Help them out. And if they don't like it, they don't have to work there.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Easy peasy.
Yeah. I like it.
That's how I
super
do
cool.
my commission. Here's the other thing. I would probably have that base level of training. So as I trained the 2 technicians on the basic stuff, right?
Sure.
When I bring in new guys, I would say, okay, you're a new guy. You get the base wage, but you don't get any commission until you complete base level training.
Sure.
So here's the training. You need to do all this training. Once it's complete, you can get commission. That'll incentivize them to get through the training, to get their commission, and so on and so on. If they never complete that training, you don't need to work here.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
lazy.
You have not shown.
If you're happy just with $35 an hour
Yeah.
and you don't want to get commission, you don't need to work here.
Yeah.
Sorry. I want people who are going to work hard, strive to be better, and do better. Not you. I think Tommy Mello calls them the paycheck chasers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paycheck, but in a derogatory sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you get guys in your business who are happy just showing up and doing the minimum.
Yeah, like the minimum paycheck chasers. Not like I want to make as much money as I possibly can, and to do that, I will follow the protocol that's set before me to achieve that.
And that's fine. And I would also develop benchmarks for these guys.
Sure.
Based on my margin pricing. I would say, okay, I want to hit this on my P&L. If I have this many guys, I should be able to do this much revenue. What's the absolute minimum that somebody would have to do to contribute to profit? So I'd probably set that as like, okay, I want you to be minimum 5% profitable. Otherwise, we're at 5%, we're going to have some conversations.
Yeah.
But if you can't do that, then you can't work here. And I would make those very upfront to my guys. And I would say, these are the minimum metrics that we need you to hit. If you're having a hard time hitting them, we will help you. We have all these trainings we'll buy that you can go through. You can call us when we're on the jobs and we will help you build estimates and we will help you sell more work.
Right.
But if after all of that help, you still can't hit metrics, we don't need you to work here. Because if they don't make you money, why do you got them there? And it sounds cutthroat and it sounds harsh to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, why are you in business? It's to make money. And if you have a bunch of people on that team who are striving to be better, who want to be the best, who want to make more on their paycheck, who want to make the company better, and you allow that one guy
Sure.
to stay there, it's going to piss them off.
Yeah.
It's going to piss off your guys who are really good.
They're either going to leave or they're just going to underproduce.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you will make less money as the business owner.
You will. And so what's going to happen, you're going to have guys that do really well. You're going to have guys in the middle, and you're going to have guys at the bottom.
Sure.
And that's totally normal. They're not all going to be $1 million and $2 million producers.
Right.
But what you want to see out of your guys is that they're at least doing the minimum and they at least want to get better. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Because
Yeah. They have that.
They all can get better.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're doing $1 million or $2 million or $3 million in revenue as a technician or 300,000 as a technician. You have room to improve.
Yes.
None of you are perfect. So let's all get better together. And we'll help you do that. We will provide you with the support. We'll provide you with the training. We'll provide you with the help that you need to get better. That's what you want as a business owner. So yeah. What else?
When did you hire your CSR in this whole?
Oh, dude, as soon as the phone started ringing.
Yeah. Okay. So like day one phone started ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to talk to anybody. You
No.
probably hired her before the phone was. You're like, okay, the phone just got set up. Actually, no. You'd probably be like, hey, I just hired you. Actually, it'd probably be my wife, honestly. And you'd be like, hey,
You want to
you want to be a CSR for a little bit? And
Yeah.
she'd be like, heck yeah. What's funny about Ayla is right now she's
bored?
sort of yes.
Yeah.
She's pivoted back into this. She always does this. She'll like work usually for you or something for a while, and then she's like, I got stuff to do, kids, life, whatever.
Yep.
And then she gets into the groove, and then she's like, well, kind of bored now. And then she's like, man, I wonder. She just told me yesterday, she's like, I was looking into like nursing school, and I was like, oh, here we go again. She's like, I know. I'm doing the thing. I'm getting bored. I'm getting restless. I'm like, just call Jared. I'm sure he can find something for you to do.
She did call me.
Yeah, that is funny.
I probably gave her something to do she didn't want to do.
Yeah, she actually probably forgot about it. Now I'm thinking about it.
I'm going to go yell at her.
You should. Don't tell her I said that though, okay?
Okay, deal.
Okay, so you had hired that CSR probably the minute your phones had the potential to ring.
The second I started marketing, the second my phone number was anywhere to be found.
You'd be like, somebody please answer this phone.
I would hire a CSR.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, I'd probably go get a small office space.
Yeah, sure.
Not only just to have some place for office people to work, but also to have a place for my Google My Business.
Yeah.
And I would,
that's one.
I would think about that location as well, because I want to set up my Google My Business location in an area that I want to serve.
Yeah.
So I'm going to think about where I'm at, where I'm setting up my office, what kind of homes are around me. Like, you want a neighborhood that has higher income people, right? They need to be able to afford what you're offering. And then if you have higher income mixed with older homes that are going to have lots more problems, you're going to be in a good spot. If you have higher income with all new homes, they're not going to have very many problems.
Right.
And so you're not going to get as much work. So I'm going to think about the location that I put my business in. Also, if you can pop your business in that area and put up signage and have trucks sitting out front, and it's a location where people drive by and they can see your brand physically, that's going to help with your marketing efforts. So I'm going to think about that real carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do any guerrilla marketing?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, when you say guerrilla marketing, what do you mean?
I mean, wow, just anything marketing that is physical, essentially. Like, I mean, you talked about BNI groups, networking, but would you do any yard signs? Would you do any?
I would do pay-per-click.
Okay. Well, that's not guerrilla marketing.
Nope. I would do pay-per-click. I would do Facebook ads or Meta ads. I would do YouTube ads. I would have my physical location. Trucks would be wrapped. I would be posting a lot on social media, and I would do mailers.
Okay.
Yep. And I would do all of those to the exact same area.
Yes.
And it would be the area that my trucks are in.
Yeah.
I think,
Probably as concentrated as possible.
Yeah, as concentrated as possible.
Yeah, dominate a really, really.
Dominate your backyard.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Own it. Own that sucker, right? So, yes, that's what I would do.
Okay.
And I would just let that chill.
Yeah, let it bake.
Just let it bake. Yep. I would probably come up with some, at this point, like we've gotten pretty good at social media just for my personal brand.
Oh yeah, you would definitely probably hit some fun social media angles.
Yeah, so I'd probably leverage the knowledge that we have of social media for my plumbing company.
Yeah.
Of just crafting, engaging videos that grab attention and educate people that we have a plumbing business in your town.
Yeah.
And we're awesome.
Yeah, you'd make good use of your flip chart.
I would. Well, I don't know. I had some ideas. Of how you could kind of like gamify it or, around, I was thinking about if you could gamify it around yard signs.
Yeah.
So like, and I got to think this all the way through.
Yeah.
And this is where like you and Costum would probably come in handy. But yeah, if you could gamify it somehow, like your social media to where it's interactive.
Yeah.
It's eye catching.
Yep.
It's different. And it's interactive.
Yes.
That's what I want to do somehow.
Yeah, I think you would have a definite edge in there just because you have a content team.
Yeah, we have the content team. We make tons of videos already. We know how to craft scripts. We know how to edit. I know how to project myself on camera.
Yeah. You're pretty efficient at just banging through tons of videos.
Yeah, so why not use that to our
100%.
advantage to promote a plumbing business?
Yeah, in addition to all the other posts that we would just have rocking and rolling for the plumbing business as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, hands down. Fancy pantsy.
Fancy fancy.
Fancy fancy.
You want any more coffee?
No, I'm good. I got some left over.
I got a lot left if you want some. There's a little bonus.
No, thank you.
Little bonus in there.
No, thank you.
Okay, you're missing out.
Yeah, I think if you just follow what the steps that I just laid out, and if you're a one truck Chuck, and obviously you can't just go do some of those steps, you're going to have to. There's going to be more time involved.
How much cash on hand do you think it would require to do that whole thing that you described?
That whole thing that I just described, cash on hand.
Or available credit, like combination of the whatever.
So I mapped this out and it was like $300,000, that's a lot of money.
Sure, of course.
A lot of people don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, just like chilling in the bank account.
Right. So you would take steps to minimize the cash needed, right?
Of course.
So you wouldn't go buy 4 vans.
Right.
You wouldn't hire 2 guys when you only needed 1.
Right.
You would be the one working.
Right. There'd be advantages in that because then you could potentially make money sooner.
Yeah, and kind of the idea, like if you're a one truck Chuck, right, or you're just starting your plumbing business and it's just you, you can follow all the same steps. Like go get your licensing, go get a credit card, go get a bank account, get a truck or get a van, get a logo made, and if you can't afford a fancy logo, get a cheap logo made.
Yeah, like 99 Designs.
Yep. Start marketing, go do work, and start stacking away cash. And if you did that and you were priced properly, you can stack away a lot of cash really fast.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I would say, okay, stack away like 50 to 60,000. And then bump up your marketing spend to see if you can get enough work to hire somebody. That way, the person you hire, as long as you're priced right, can then start making you money as well. Now you're both making money. You can stack away cash a little faster. Then I would go to the third guy, and I would have myself and 2 other guys, and I would stack cash again. And then I would hire a third guy, and I would pull out of the truck. And then I would stack cash again, right?
Yeah.
Every phase, the emphasis would be on stacking cash.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't get on Service Titan or have a price book until I was in the office. Then I would work on Service Titan. Then I would work on a price book. Before that, I would just have my guys write stuff on a notepad.
What about like the membership angle? How would that factor
I wouldn't
in?
sell memberships until I had Service Titan.
Sure.
It'd be probably one of the only reasons I would that would drive me to get on Service Titan would be to get memberships. That's it.
That'd be an interesting thing to think about, like how many memberships you would need to get to make getting on Service Titan early worth it?
So if you did the $99 a year method, Service Titan costs you $1,000 a month with 3 guys. So that's 10 memberships per month. Be 120 memberships.
Yeah, it seems like you could pay it even if you weren't using the full suite of things, but you could just break even on Service Titan, but you're still stacking members.
Yeah.
Eventually, it'll be a really useful thing down the road.
It's a good point. It may make getting on Service Titan worth it right there.
And I think I've heard you I think we've had a brief conversation about that where I think you just maybe in passing told me it's like, yeah, I'm kind of rethinking like when people should get on Service Titan.
Yeah.
Because we would preach simplicity, like, no, you don't need it. It's expensive, this kind of thing. Just go make money.
That would still be my focus.
Sure.
Like, go make money.
Of course, go make money.
And the reason I say that is because I've seen people, they go get on Service Titan, they hire the marketing company, they get the vans, they get the van wrap, they buy the fancy tools, and it's like, and they blow all their money.
Yep. And they're in I was just talking to a guy, right?
And then they're hurt position. Right. And probably what they should have done is held off on spending all that money on that stuff and spend it on getting more work so that they can make money, so they can stack some of it away.
Yeah.
And then take some of the money they stacked away and reinvest it into your business in the form of Service Titan or more marketing or more vehicles or vehicle wraps, right? It's a cash game if you don't have cash.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
It's just a matter of like, how do I create a big enough safety net, but not a ridiculous safety net?
Right.
And the hard part for a lot of guys is when they get that money in, they either want to spend it because their lifestyle is crazy, or they want to stash it away
and never touch it.
And never touch it because they made it. They want to hoard it now, and all they want to do is make more.
Or they just don't know what to do with it. Because
I think most people land in the boat of they stacked all this money away. They don't want to see it go down.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're unwilling to take some of that money and spend it back on their business.
Yeah.
Right. That's a hard thing.
Yeah.
I remember fighting that. I got my bank account all up to 80 grand and I watched it go all the way down to 10.
Yeah.
So $70,000 disappeared. It was the most money I've ever had in my entire life at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I had to watch it all disappear in order to grow my business. It was scary. That's hard to do if you're blue collar, you're used to working for a paycheck, you're trading time for money and you're stashing it away. It's a different mindset. You have to understand that money is a tool that you use and you can use it to make more money and that money is not limited.
Correct.
It's a renewable resource.
Yes.
You can go make more of it. So if you spend it on some dumb crap, you can always go make more.
Yep.
And you can start leveraging other people's time and other tools to make you money. So then your time isn't necessarily tied to it. That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Man, well, I'm excited about this plan.
Cool, dude. For all the listeners, go down to the description, grab our playbook. There's a ton of good information in there, a ton of the stuff we talked about today, plus more. If you're listening on the podcast, because we have a ton of podcast listeners, which surprises me.
Yep.
Because I can't listen to
Good
nothing.
on you guys, just like me, listening.
Yeah, good on you guys. You can go to wealthyplumber.com/playbook and grab our playbook. There's a link to our hourly rate calculator in there. Tons of good info in there. Just go grab it if you haven't already. Good stuff.
If you're confused by the P&L conversation, that's all outlined at the end of the playbook.
It's all outlined
Check
in
it
there.
out.
Yep. Good stuff. Cool, man.
Sweet. Thanks, Jared.
See you, Holmes.